What's up everyone, this is Dave LeClaire with MakeUseOf.com, and today we are taking a look at the Avenger Elite. What's the Avenger Elite, you ask? Well, it is a device that clips onto your existing Xbox 360 controller, and it adds all kinds of functionality to the device. Instead of your face buttons being buttons, they become little levers. It adds an extra lever for the A button, which is an additional thing that comes in the Defcon package, which we obviously have here. It changes your triggers, letting you push them via rubber bands on the back or the normal way. You can even make a loop. Does all kinds of stuff, completely changes the way you use an Xbox 360 controller. Down to a very fundamental level, it actually changes the way you use a game controller, period. So that begs the question, are these changes a good thing or are they a bad thing? You're talking about relearning how you use a game controller. So is that going to be something that you're going to like or something you're going to hate? Well, that's what we're going to take a look at throughout the rest of this review. So keep watching. We'll see you on the other side. So the way this works is for the face buttons, you have a lever that you push with your left hand to activate the X button, a lever that you push with your right hand to activate the Y button, and a lever on the side that you push up with your index finger to activate the B button. The A button is an additional device, and what you do is you squeeze with your palm to activate that. So you can squeeze it without actually taking your finger off the right stick. The triggers function like normal triggers, but a little bit bigger, and you can tighten them down with the elastic to change how much throw you have. But you can also hold your hand on the back of the controller and push in on the elastic to activate the trigger. You can also set it up with a loop that you put your finger through and you leave it through while you're playing, and you just pull down on that loop to activate the trigger. So again, this is a fundamental change to the way you play games. Now, I do have a couple of issues with that. One, I find that where the Y button is ends up being a little cumbersome, because when you reach for it with your right finger, you end up hitting the B button sometimes, which obviously, if you meant to switch guns, the same Call of Duty, switching guns is Y, going prone and crouching is B. If you mean to switch guns and you accidentally crouch, that could cause a problem in a fast-paced multiplayer game. It could end up leading to your death. What if you're out of ammo, you want to switch guns, but instead you crouch? Your opponent's going to shoot you, you're going to lose. The other problem I have is I find that squeezing my palm on the A button feels a little bit cumbersome. I don't love that control method. Personally, I would take this off, seeing as it's optional, and just use the A button normally. The triggers feel pretty normal. I prefer to use them just as normal triggers, but just have them be a little bit bigger. That's fine. But the dual action part, where you move forward to push the left bumper and right bumper, I found that to be very annoying, and I prefer to hit the bumpers manually. But again, you run into the same problem there as reaching for the Y, which is that you end up hitting B when you mean to hit the bumper, because they're right next to each other. When you lift your finger off the trigger and move it to the bumper, you finger taps the B, and that's a problem. All that being said, it is a well-designed piece of hardware. The levers that you use to hit the buttons feel pretty sturdy. They have a little flex, so it doesn't feel like they'll break during intense gameplay sessions. The adhesive that holds the lever onto the A is very strong. The elastic bands don't feel flimsy like they would break, so you could definitely use them and not have to worry about any problems. So while I do have some issues from an actual performance perspective, if those don't bother you, because it is a matter of personal preference, the device is actually well designed. It fits sturdily on the 360 controller, so it's not a bad device. It's just that personally, I do have some issues with the way that you interact with your games using this thing. So with all that being said, that brings us to the last question, and that is, should you buy this? Is the Avenger Elite Defcon something that you're going to want to buy? It's really going to come down to a matter of personal preference. Personally, there's a few things about it that I don't like, and I'm very, very picky when it comes to game controllers. So personally, I would not use this as my everyday controller. I would rather just use the base Xbox 360 controller. But it does offer some performance benefits, most specifically the way you access the X button. It's fantastic, and it allows you to reload quicker. Now, if you can get past some of the other issues that I have, and with enough time get used to it, because there is a big learning curve, this is definitely not a bad piece of hardware. It is $80, so it's not cheap. It costs more than a 360 controller, so you are going to be paying a lot if you want to use this. But if you're playing competitively and you want to get those little bit of edges and you think that it's something you get used to, it's not a bad controller, but personally, I would pass. Once again, this is Dave LeClaire. Thank you very much for watching this review. Make sure to head over to makeuseup.com to enter the giveaway so you can take this bad boy home for free. And I'll see you guys next time.